Welcome to the DJ Insider Podcast, sponsored by Amplified Events.
It's the only podcast where we break down insider information from our weddings, experience, and advice from over 15 years in the wedding industry.
We're your hosts. I'm Mike Kane, owner of Amplified Events.
And I'm Joey Albomonte, the general manager of Amplified Events.
Let's get into it. Well, we are back in our first ever four-person podcast. Woo! Welcome. Of course, we got me, we got Joe, we've got Dave Siegrist, and we got Jeff Webb. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
How you doing?
Thank you. Hey, good to be here.
Yes, and so, of course, I'm the owner. Joe is our new general manager for Amplified Events. Jeff is the owner of Amplified Michigan events, and then he also is one of our DJs. And then Dave Siegrist is a DJ that jumped on our team this year. Welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we all had a weekend. I only helped out a little bit with the tasting on Sunday, but everyone else had events. Tell me about your events. What was memorable? What was good or bad? Where was it? That kind of thing. Whoever wants to go first.
New guy.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Where was your event? Anything memorable about it? Good, bad?
Yeah.
Highlight songs?
No. The event was at County Line Orchard, and beautiful venue, great bride and groom. Probably the speech by the dad, the father of the groom, he did a great job. I'm like, oh wow, like you can see the speeches of the individuals that are like, yeah, I just looked this up and had ChatGPT write it for me, and it's
for those of you that don't know me.
Yeah, like it's the individuals that don't make the speech about themselves, but actually make it about the bride and groom, and it was really thoughtful and good. That was a highlight of that, and I always try to, of course, have conversations with the bride and groom, and then figure out, okay, where are parents at? Being able to have a little bit of an engagement with them and conversation, and sometimes we get sat at the table during dinner hour with the videographer and the photographer and love talking with them, and both of them were very pleasant too. So it was, since I've just been doing it this season, that was my first time going to Orchard, County Line Orchard
as a DJ,
and that was my first time there as a DJ. And one of the people behind the bar was like, "Hey, have you been here before?" I'm like, "No, this is actually my first time." They're like, "Oh, but have you been to the Dunes Pavilion?" I'm like, "Oh, there we go," because same company. So there's the beginning of like being able to be recognized by some of the staff at some of the venues, that's cool. Yeah,
That always feels good.
Yeah.
Any songs that really hit or songs that did not hit? Any surprises? Think lessons learned?
Songs that didn't hit. Oh, I can't think of any right now.
Or did hit any, like a song of the night? Just one that went big that you.
I can think of a song that didn't hit. So the bride and groom didn't want any line dances, didn't want any, Cupid shuffle or
They're wrong.
Yeah. And one of I believe it would have been like an aunt or somebody came up and asked like, "Hey, can we do this?" And like another aunt went up and talked to the bride and groom, and they said, "Fine, we'll play one." And they played it, and the people that you would guess would go out on the floor and play. And then as soon as that was done, like we got the thanks, don't play anymore. And so it was kind of an awkward moment, but they appeased the family. So it was good, but it was just kind of like, well, maybe it wasn't worth it, but there you go.
Fair enough. Now, Jeff, you did 2 weddings and a tasting.
Yeah, Joey. How were those 2 weddings and tasting?
They definitely happened for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely, and I mean, speaking for Jeff too, I mean, maybe we spoke about this before. It's just like late in the season. It was definitely tough, like that third day, just like loading up the car, getting the equipment. And it was just a tasting, like it wasn't anything major. But I know that even that second day we were dragging a bit, but even the dance floors both nights were so good that it just made up for all the other like little things, or just like the day kind of feeling long or whatever. Just like the first one we had was at Walden, and that dance floor was great. It always is at Walden. And then the second one was at the auditorium in LaPorte. Huge auditorium, very cool venue, beautiful place, 350 person wedding, but just full dance floor the whole time. They paid us extra to go longer.
Heck yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, I mean, like, the dance floors were good in spite of our overall attitude. And that kind of turned it around, right? Like, we're like, yeah, absolutely. So, all right, this podcast occasionally turns into just like positive good time DJ ASMR.
Sure. We do a lot of that.
I am not positive good time ASMR guy, so I'm just gonna be real here. I promise I won't cuss though. You won't have to put the explicit thing on this.
We're gonna have
Usually
to.
that has to happen.
I think it's on there anyway.
We have a lot of children
not
who
for
watch
kids.
this podcast.
I know. This is like, it's like this, and there's like a couple Bluey reaction podcasts. It's like you guys and them.
We're same. It's the same. It's a Venmo diagram.
It's almost completely
People who watch Bluey, people who watch DJ Insider podcast.
It doesn't make any sense. Big time Australian
It's a
following.
perfect circle.
You're right.
But so it was great. Like we got there, loaded up. I was like, "Oh man, Joey, I just want to sit in the car. I just want to sit in the car and stare at the wheel for a while. I just want to stare at the steering wheel because we just got set up and we still have 10 more hours to go, or 79 hours to go. We've been here for 127 hours. I'm
Cut your arm off.
Stuck in a
cut
rock.
my arm
Yeah.
off. And then like you talk to the couple and it's like, you guys are cool. Oh, your family's cool too. Okay. Oh, you guys, you picked out some good songs.
I love that energy of like, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He did it. Okay. Cool.
Just that goddamn it, like,
You guys are cool. All right, I'm gonna have a good time now.
Everything else was too good.
It was too good.
I set out to have a bad day. And
Here I was, mad as hell.
Side of the bed. Like I was very upset. Nothing was going right. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do my job, and it's going to be great, but I'm going to hate it. I'm going to bitch the whole time.
Yeah.
And then it started to go really well, and I started to have a good time, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to dance. And as soon as, like, you always ask, like, what's the song that always hits? It's, for me personally, it's DJ Got Us Falling in Love Again by Usher.
dude, that is
Love
such
it.
I played that Friday.
It's
Like,
murder.
jam.
hard.
Yeah, like I could, there are so many songs that we play in this job that make me want to just like put my fist in a garbage disposal. You know what I mean? Just hard. And I could listen to that song on repeat for like an hour straight and still just be doing the two-step the whole time.
Yeah.
Um,
But the one that hit really hard at the
Way
LaPorte
Down
Civic
Yonder.
Auditorium was Chattahoochee.
Mm-hmm.
Way Down Yonder.
Way Down Yonder, dude.
So hard.
You never
Everybody
knew how much
sang.
that muddy water meant. Yeah.
Dude,
No,
Yeah.
seriously, they loved it. And then the devil went down to Georgia.
which like
hit.
upset
Everybody
me. It
sang.
upset me that
line
that hit
dance.
as hard as it did.
I'll do a do-si-do to that song.
I'll do a little ditty
yeah.
back there behind
I'll do a
the
little
booth.
two-step and perhaps
Had our,
three-step.
our
Three
thumbs
steps?
in the loop.
That's effort. I'm only doing 3 steps if there's a pre-negotiated tip. I'm going to be honest with you.
You don't
Whoa,
get
let's
two
not
step,
get too
Mike.
ahead of
You
ourselves.
get 2 steps in the main package, all right? That's what we're doing here, bud.
Oh, man.
All right, I'll shut up now. Back to you.
I freaking love the Chattahoochee song because we have that. It has that whole like, I was raised on a river, and I learned a lot of lessons about life
From mud.
from mud and river water.
Baby.
Yeah, you went to school. Look at the mud.
I think that is the funniest thing ever. That was like, you going into school and you're learning those fancy books and fancy education. City teachers teaching you city, but you can learn more on the river.
I mean, you really got to look at like rural Georgia public education.
Yeah.
Mud.
You learned a lot
know,
about
Dave. I
living
mean, they're
and a
about
little
to-
about love.
A little.
On the Chattahoochee River.
Not a lot. Just a little bit of love.
Some of the
Just a
albums have
little
like
about
parental advisory. That one had like water boiling advice.
Yeah. You might learn a little about living. And
Yeah.
And have leeches.
Couple 2 tree leeches.
Oh, the tree leeches.
I just love that song so much because of that. And what's funny is I played that song by Alabama, whereas if you're gonna play in Texas, you got to have a fiddle in the band.
Yeah.
Yes, We had kind of a little bit of a country where Eller on the Lake, Mason, Raycoff Recordings. She was like, I'd like to try my hand at DJing. I was like, well, jump on our team. So she came out. She was fantastic. It was great. It was a great night. We had a full floor all night. Nice. But it was a really good crowd to kind of show her that, like, yeah, we could crush it with the youngs, but then we have 200 olds who are sitting.
Yeah.
But we're going to have 25 youngs who are all in, which is great. But I was like, let's switch it up. Let's keep it. Let's do a mixture of stuff. And we kept more people more of the night. I think we did really right. Bride and groom were super sweet. We didn't. It was just DJ dance floor lighting. We threw in up lighting for free, and we crushed it. It was a fantastic night. Speeches were short and sweet, exactly what you want. Intros were just clutch. We were actually way ahead of schedule. Where Tyler came up and was like, "Can you do cake cutting after speeches?" I was like, we already did it. Like, you already did it? He said, it's 6:15. We don't serve till 6. I was like, I know.
Is it Allure then, I'm assuming?
Yeah, Allure on the Lake.
Man,
but it was like, we just did intros, cake, and speeches. We were done by like 6:15. Mm-hmm. But normally, like, it's 6:30, 6:45, 7. People who drain, just go on, drain.
How long was your dance floor?
It was about 3.5.
Okay.
It was long. We started at 7:30, went to, so actually it ended up being 3 because they wanted to be done by 10:30. We ended early. But ended early in a good way because everyone was tired, wanted to go home.
Man, I've had more 4-hour dance floors this year.
Dude, those are the worst.
It's stressful because, like, I'm out. I play DJ Got Us Falling in Love. I'm done.
That's the last song I have.
That's it. That's Freebird. I can't go on.
That's my Freebird. Okay. Yeah.
The bird is free. He flew away. So
He's gone.
Can't recapture the bird. Mm-mm. Not at this wedding.
Well, cool. I'm glad you had a good time. I love the Allure. We love Tyler. It's always a good time there.
Yeah. Yeah, it always is. It was actually beautiful. Great night, great crowd, and everything ahead of schedule, which was super smooth for us. And we had a great dance floor, so there's no complaint. I have no notes. No notes.
No notes.
Super easy couple. They gave me 4 songs.
I like that.
4 songs.
4 songs.
And I don't know if I like
no,
that.
do not.
These are the
I think
must
I'm
plays.
somewhere in
4
between
songs.
And where's even a must play? It was just, hey, if you can play it.
Give me just a taste
Give me
of
like
what you
20
like.
songs.
Yeah.
Because then you got okay, sure, 20 is a good call because then, like, I'm gonna hit these 20 songs.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna make sure that the floor is filled until someone comes up and says, "Hey, can you play some AC/DC when my dance floor is full?"
I'm like, I got a bunch of songs to get through.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Sorry.
Do you have like a go? So that night we had like a go-to switch to olds because we were hitting them with like your Kesha and your Iconopop and your Nicki Minaj and
Pitbull.
Yeah, we're hitting with that hard, and it was working. Fireball. It was working. Fireball. It was working, but I saw a lot of people sitting, and so I'm like, this makes me uncomfortable. Nobody's asking for this. Nobody was bugging us, but like, let's just do it. And so I dropped. I think it was
Only you.
No. It was after. I think it was Flow Ride Is Low. After that song, I dun 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 dun.
Oh, old time rock and roll.
Yes, just take
Nice.
So we hit him with that. Then we hit him with some Shook Me All Night Long, and then we did some oldies, kind of getting into it, and that kind of worked. I think I did some Sweet Caroline early, and
Early Sweet Caroline.
it was about 8:30.
That is an early Sweet
Too
Caroline.
early for Neil Diamond to come out.
Caroline.
Yeah, that's way too early for Neil Diamond to come
In
out.
that situation where you have a lot of like, here's the must plays, and there's like 50 songs.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of like older demographic individuals come up. What I've been hearing a lot is, can you play some Motown? Motown, which isn't on the list, but like you drop some of that and like you're going to get the older crowd out. And normally, I think that was a wedding where normally older individuals who are attendees leave earlier in the night, but this one they stuck around all the way through. And you're like, gotta drop something for them.
Yeah.
Because they're just sitting there and like, they're kind of the reason in some ways that everyone's kind of here. And so, yeah. But what do you
Gotta
do?
show
with-
some respect to all the
You gotta
grandparents and-
show some respect. So like the mix between of like, hey, yeah, definitely honoring, and we're here about the bride and groom, but there's some people that are really waiting to dance, and they should be on the floor to all these young ones, but it hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Just trying to find that thing that I'm trying to play as little of that as possible.
Yeah.
Or not, depending on the crowd. But
Yep.
yeah.
Played a lot of disco this year. I think that bridges the gap. Like just R&B into disco. I think that we'll get the oldies out too because it's something that they recognize, but also the younger crowd will also dance to it pretty hard. And then you can go like into the early 2000s rap as like a perfect segue, like and all that. And
Jeff loves country music.
he loves country music so much that the other
Anytime
day
he
I
plays.
did a 45-minute set for him because
awesome.
he didn't want to do country. I was like, can you just
I
like
can't.
do this for me? I got
I
you.
was like, will you please just, and I used words that I won't use on this podcast.
Sure.
But I was like, will you please play this specific type of music that I gave a colloquialism to, involving
Country.
cousins and coitus. And, he did. He killed the 45-minute set, and this dude came out and ripped his shirt open, and they were doing like this stuff with cowboy hats on, and I got a selfie with the bride and groom with a cowboy hat on, and they had a great time.
did?
They had a wonderful time, and it was like, man, that's infectious.
As long as people
It
have
is.
fun, I don't care what I'm playing.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
Same.
it's not about me. But I'd like to play what
It's
I
the muddy water. It's the muddy water.
This was actually my favorite part of the whole night. There was this dude that kept coming up and going, hey, can you play something country by Brooks and Dunn? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'll get to it. And then like half hour goes by.
He meant the song.
Let me get there. Let me get there.
I'm sorry.
He's building the
Can't
punch.
step on the punch
Sorry.
line.
The
setup, the
That's
setup.
real
Sorry.
shit.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Get
Get out.
First and last podcast.
That happened 4 times. Like, you can't like play something country. I'm like, okay, what do you want? What name a song?
What do you want?
You like this band so much you can't even name one song? It's like, no. Play something country is the name of the song. And I'm like, oh shit.
Oh man.
Joey, did you know that?
I did.
And he was like, yeah, I just thought you didn't want to play it.
I did.
Yes, that was a struggle. And then I played it and they loved it. So that was cool.
They loved it.
Sorry for the punchline.
I mean, you know, I'll forgive you eventually.
Okay.
It's not that
Stepped
good.
on
at
his
one point. I mean, everybody knew what was coming.
Well, you didn't.
Well, I mean, I did because I lived it. But I mean, like,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Brooks and Dunn, if you're listening, you knew the punchline.
You knew the punchline.
And I know you're
Brooks and
listening,
Dunn.
Brooks.
Yeah.
And Dunn.
Yeah, Brooks is a fan. Dunn is not.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. I saw that on the analytics.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird the amount of information that they're giving you these days. You
yeah.
have no
it's
idea.
First name, last name, address.
That's pretty wild.
I brought homework here.
Yes. Hit us with it.
Knowing that I would be doing this.
Discussion.
So 3 things that I hated, and because we're at the end of season
Yeah,
pretty much. Like,
end
you
of
know, I
season.
got like, I don't know, how many do you have next month?
20, 25, something like that.
In December?
Uh-huh.
Damn, that's awesome. I really have any. How many?
A lot of company parties. And
Yeah,
stuff.
that's true.
Yeah. Little gigs. Nothing
It's like,
crazy.
yeah, so like, it's all like company parties and stuff, or like wedding season is pretty much done. I have like 3 actual weddings next month. So 3 things I hated, 3 things I loved about the season. Do you want to start with love or hate?
I like hate.
Okay. all right.
Unless you want to start with love.
No,
So
I
we're
want to start with
positive.
hate. I'm all about that.
I like
The
to end on a
hate
positive note
Yeah.
rather than like despair.
Yeah, we'll do hate, love, hate, love.
Okay,
All right.
we'll do a hate sandwich.
Yeah, absolutely. If you grew up in my household, that's the only thing you had.
All
We
you
didn't use
get, man.
bread. We use blood and tears.
Number 1 thing I hated about this year, it's not about you. And you know who I'm talking about. It's like the type of people where if it's a no request wedding and I tell them that it's a no request wedding multiple times, and then they still go to get the bride or groom to have them come up so that the bride or groom can tell them to play the song. Don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about you. Like, you're going to have a great time with the songs that the bride and groom pick. It's not about you. Also, same vein, a lot of pale, whitish dresses this season I saw at weddings.
Yeah.
Like a ridiculous amount of whitish
bright
dre-
white
like
Wait,
dresses.
non-brides.
Non-bride.
Pale yellow, pale
Trying
white.
to take the bride's glory. That's the whole thing. You don't wear white to a wedding.
Like, I don't know if I'm like, call me old fashioned. Stop it. Don't do that anymore. So there's my first. It's not about you. That's my first hate of the season.
Sure.
That's like 2 or 3 in one.
Well, you know, I got like, look, there's bullet points.
Oh, it's not about you.
It's how hate
Yeah.
works.
Jeff hates a lot.
Hate has fingers. It
Yeah, I
kind of
got a lot of
spreads.
hate.
There's
Got it.
spread to it.
Yeah. A thing that you hated about the season?
Something you hated.
It's not my list.
No, I
No,
I
but
know.
you
It's
come
a
up with
question.
something you didn't like.
I gotta come up with something I didn't like.
Or you can think about it. You can skip.
Oh yeah,
And,
skip. Okay,
Pass.
what
Joe,
thing
something you
hated?
didn't like.
I also love a lot.
Working for Mike.
Working for Mike Kane.
Yeah.
No, it's hard to say. Honestly, like, what did I hate this season?
You've only had, I mean, literally, you have the most 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
Let's say, like,
So you've only had like 1 or 2 weddings that didn't go like a 10. They were like an 8. You know?
what did I hate? I guess like what I hated was just
Say whatever you want.
just like showing up day of and it just being
Not fun.
yeah,
Just a
just
lot-
not
just a-
fun. Like the crowd is just like because I guess
What
like,
makes it not
the
fun?
first one that came to my mind was I worked this wedding where I think one of you were
Williams
with me.
Orchard.
Yes, Williams Orchard.
It wasn't the
Oh
venue
my
that made it
gosh,
not
it
fun.
wasn't the venue,
Yeah.
but like there was another wedding going on in the family that day. So like there was this overlooming gloom of just everybody was so mad. The bride and groom were miserable. They didn't smile once that day. Even during ceremony, saying their vows, they were freaking miserable.
And that's because her cousin or someone in her family did a wedding the same day.
Another
as
wedding
her.
same
And
day, so people had to choose.
half of her family or friends went to
Yeah.
that wedding as opposed. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
good reason to be upset.
like
Your
that
hate's
wedding
like the vibe,
sucked.
basically.
Yeah.
And then
if the
we
vibe's
also
bad.
like yes, and then like we had a dance. They had us set up inside, and then the dance floor was mostly outside. So even though like
Layout.
vibes sucked, layout was worse, and it's just like we couldn't fix the energy. Like we weren't in the right space to even do so. That was something I hated. Like it was just
You're
there was
helpless.
so much going on, and we were helpless.
Multiple
we were on an
times
island.
that night, it's like, we still have
What?
2.5
Oh,
hours.
you're
Like,
looking at the
serious.
watch.
Yeah.
That's that as a DJ. I'm like when I'm looking at the watch, I'm like,
bad
it's
time.
That's a
like,
bad wedding.
we
I want to just
Oh
like be
my
with
God.
my computer, zoned in, just mixing. Sorry, and then it's 11. Like I love weddings like that. You're just working hard,
Boom.
kicking ass, having a great dance floor,
One
and then
more
it's
song.
over.
Right, yeah, let's go one more
do
song.
one
we
more
even
song,
got done at 10.
dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
That was a long one for
That's
sure.
long.
What's your
And
first
then, like-
hate, Michael?
dude. My first hate is, the theme of this year has been no good deed goes unpunished.
Oh no.
I strike myself. I really try to be a person. I know I'm not a good person, so I make extra effort to like take actions that are good actions that I know. Like I try to be generous, I'd be flexible, be understanding. I try not to be critical of people, and all I expect is that in return, if I do something generous for you, you don't critique what I'm doing. And we had a wedding. I was sick as a dog. And Jeff was DJing, and we did it at a discount, and we also threw in free lighting. So we were already like way below what we should have been paid. I did it as a favor to the couple and as to the planner who booked us. And then the father of the bride comes up and to correct me on the pronunciation of the groom while I'm doing introductions. You're interrupting me doing my job to tell me I'm not doing my job right. And I know it was right, but it got in my head, and I was like, we already gave a discount. We're doing all these things. I did extra things. I'm done. I was checked out, done. I was talking to Mason about it, and she's like, I couldn't tell you were mad, but I knew you enough to know that you were mad.
Yeah.
But I was like, but no one else could tell. But
It was also you spoke to the groom, was it?
I
Like,
was
several
furious.
times. Before.
Several
you said his
times.
name several
I think
times.
I got it
he
right.
never corrected
It's
you,
fine.
and
once.
just
but it was just
And
so.
also was so wonderful.
We were doing,
They
and
were
it had
wonderful.
nothing to do. The bride and groom were fantastic. They didn't do
Spectacular
anything
couple.
wrong. And I really do feel like I said that name correctly, but it got in my
did.
head, and so I never wanted to say his name again because I was fearing that I
yeah,
was
it was
saying
just the newlyweds from
and
then
I was
on.
just
The
like,
groom.
the bride and groom,
My guy.
my guy over there.
I just have learned that, but just no good deed goes unpunished. You do a nice thing for people, and you just be cool, And it's like, no, like you're fucking up, you're doing the wrong thing. Like that just bothered me so much. I'm like, I'm just done. I don't want to do this anymore.
Feels like the
Checking my
universe.
watch, I want to go home. This feels like work, and that was, of course, unfortunately, like the third of triple header that weekend, and so that affected it. So that would be my first hate. That was the thing I hated about this year. Is just.
I've
Very
heard you bring that
valid
up
hate.
multiple times because I know how much it pissed you off.
You do a nice thing for people. You go out of your way to even throw in free stuff.
Yeah,
and
a
then
bunch of it too.
And then they're interrupting you while you're working. Like you literally announcing stuff to correct you on the pronunciation of somebody's name, which you got right.
Yeah, first off.
And then now they're in your head about like, did I say it right? Do I need to go apologize? I don't know anyone that there's no job there's gonna where people can go up and tell you that you like, let me show you how to do your job right. There's no job like that. No surgeon, no doctor. I mean, I guess cooks you have to deal with people complaining about the quality of the food, which is a very personal thing, you know.
But even then, like the person in the restaurant's not going to go back there and cook it themselves and show the cook how to do it.
Right.
They're going to sit up front and
I
expect
do
it
believe
to just be remade
there are
properly.
arrogant people in this world that will do that.
They might. I mean, there definitely are. There's
Or like
a type.
comedians when they're like, "You want to come up on stage?" You're like, "Yeah," and then they just bomb, you know.
Yeah, I like that.
But
bet you do.
put them on the spot. You think this is easy? Come on up. Yeah. That's my first hate.
That's a good hate.
Well, okay, let's sandwich it with love. My first love, I transformed as a human being a little bit.
Metamorphosis.
I had, first couple weddings I had where it was like just over information, like pages of information, like on Vibo, our planning app.
They were pretty thorough.
Just over. I'm like, oh, you take a look at that, and what's your first thought? Like, oh, here we go. It's one of these. It's one of these right here. It's gonna be one of these. Am I right? No, I learned. It was like, no, give me all of that information, so I don't have to ask you a single question.
That's the idea.
Seriously.
Oh my god! And
I
it's
want
like,
those breads.
Yes,
Yeah.
every single freaking time. Like, if I have those breads, it's like you look and you see everything's just done, everything's filled out. The more that you put into that, the better your wedding is gonna be.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of those this year, which was just I loved that. Just made not only
The goal being day of, they're going to be cool and just chill, and they're
Yeah.
going to trust us. I already told them what I wanted.
Yeah.
And then we just do what they want, and they're happy. If
Yes.
that's give me as much as
give
you
me
want.
all of it.
if there's
and then,
that trade-off.
man, yeah, give me all of it. Let's have a good time. It's gonna be amazing. And beyond that, yeah, it makes my job for sure. It makes my job easier. It makes my job smoother. But like, it's gonna make your wedding 10 times better too. So a lot of that this year, loved that.
I love that.
Nice.
Something you love this year?
Did you do a hate?
I kind of agreed with Joe.
Oh right, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah,
That was a tough
You were
one.
with me that
I
day.
was with
so
you, and
very
it was a beautiful day. It was beautiful.
beautiful venue.
Yeah, beautiful venue, beautiful stuff. Yeah. What I've loved the most of me stepping into this relatively new to it, of being able to observe the dynamics of, like, you have two different families coming together, and you get to view, like, these are two totally different families. This is going to be really fun or really awkward. Or like, you can, like, reading the room and going like, dance floor is going to be really busy tonight. It's going to be great. But I've really enjoyed I have a daughter who's 17, and so we're closer to her getting married than not. I assume she's not going to be 34 when she gets married. She might be. I'd be okay with that. But I'm listening to the father's speeches, and I'm listening, and I'm finding, like, I'm getting choked up a little bit listening to a guy I don't know. I don't know his daughter. I'm just kind of living through him in the moment. Like, I've really enjoyed hearing the thoughtfulness of the parents' speeches.
That's really nice.
Yeah, the care, the compassion.
Yep.
That's universal.
Yeah.
And that's how speeches should be.
Your perspective. That's awesome.
Yeah.
A gift.
Oh yeah.
Something you've loved.
Oh man, I've had so many incredible couples this year, like just above and beyond. And maybe it's just because I've like fully sent and like wanted to be booked so many times this year. Like I think I had 27 weddings this year. I think I got 20 5-star reviews.
This is
I
freaking
loved
incredible.
all of my couples. They all were just so fun to work with. So they were on top of it. They did the Vibo app.
Yeah.
They filled it out when I needed it filled out. They were just kind the whole time and appreciative. And I love that. I seriously, that is my first love. My biggest love is I worked with some amazing couples this year that have hopefully recommended me to some of their friends and that I know have like taken my card or our card and moved on. So I hopefully will get to see them in the future at their friends' weddings. But that was my favorite thing for sure.
That's awesome.
For me, it would be, and you guys, I'm sure have experienced this before, but sometimes you go through life and you hit that, there's just something that happens and you're like, I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be. I've had all the experiences, all the knowledge, all the prep. You arrive at this moment, that this is my moment. I feel I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in this world. I don't know if it's providence or destiny, what people call it, but this summer I literally had the weekend off, and the Friday night, the Thursday before, I had one of my closest friends as a DJ. He was like, I need help. I need an assistant. Do you have anyone on your team? I'm like, I'm available. So I went and assisted him. And then Saturday morning, they had a bride who's a couple whose DJ had taken his own life that night before. So they did not have a DJ. And they're getting their makeup on. And like, we don't have a DJ. What are we going to do? And that makeup artist reached out to another makeup artist who reached out to me. And then they had a groomsman in that bridal party who reached out to who was a friend of another DJ friend of mine. And that DJ reached out. And then basically I came and DJ'd, and it was one of the best weddings I've ever done. And I was like, I am uniquely prepared and trained and available to do this. I just, all of my skills, all of my equipment, all of my knowledge, and I was able to just crush it. And it felt so good to be able to show up for a dear friend and show up for a couple I didn't know at a moment of need. There's very few times when you're like, you know, that old thing on the plane where somebody's having a heart attack. Is there a doctor here?
Yeah.
You
DJ
just,
in the house.
is there a DJ in the house? And I had that twice the same weekend. Yeah. It was fantastic. It just felt like life is going well to be able to, like, I was excited to jump on board with both of those gigs and crush them and help people. I always looked at this job as like, this is something I'm passionate about. I'm helping people. But it doesn't always feel that way. But definitely that weekend was a huge highlight, something I loved this year.
Nice.
That's awesome. Back to hate. Don't get sloshed, right? Man, oh my God. Like, you know, have a good time. You paid for tons of money. Speak of the devil. Yeah, go get a drink. That's a hilarious transition. But don't get sloshed at your wedding. Just don't get absolutely.
Yeah, don't get sloshed. Get me sloshed. We're not at a wedding. We're at a podcast. It's fine.
There's a big distinct difference. Don't get annihilated though. It's wild to me. Like if you, especially for two things, if you are a puker.
Yeah, puker.
Don't get annihilated at your wedding. You spent a lot of money on this.
Puke and pee is probably not a good one.
I haven't experienced pee. I've experienced puke 3 separate times this year. 2 brides, 1 groom. And, man.
People can overdo it. That's what I always recommend. Make sure you hydrate. Make sure you pace yourself. Make sure you eat.
Yeah, and it's just like...
Especially couples.
I don't, you know...
Because your adrenaline's going.
It's your day. Other people are that sloshed with you. It's the vibe, right? Like, ride with it. But like,
have fun.
Man,
celebrate.
Have fun. But, like, remember your day, right?
Yeah.
But the more important one for me is if you're mean, if you're a mean drunk, don't do it. Because then you'll be mean to me, and it will ruin my day. Not just will it ruin my day, it'll ruin, like, the next 2 months of DJing. Somebody was mean to me after they were trashed at their wedding the entire day, and I was by myself, didn't have an assistant. Man. So I'm just, like, rocking it, having this dude be really mean to me multiple times, just, like, trying not to sob like a baby. But he's totally fine. Everything's totally cool right now. Everything's totally cool. The DJ got us falling in love again. Yeah, absolutely. I'll play Dixieland Delight right now. For the 10th time, Dixieland Delight. And then, obviously, Family Tradition 6 times.
I just picture like a silent tear coming down your cheek
like,
as you're dropping this, like, are you all ready to get messed in?
You ready again? Yeah. 10 weddings after that one, I was just like, oh, man, they're going to yell at me. It's going to be awful. I'm going to get screamed at. I don't want this. So thank you. You gave me PTSD. I wish nothing but terrible things upon your house.
That's a good one. That's a good hate.
Yeah.
Any hates, Dave?
I have another hate. I have to do another hate.
Got to do 3 hates. 3 hates and 3 loves.
3 hates, 3 loves.
If you really don't have it.
I don't have another hate.
Of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. He's just that guy.
Well, share a love. Share a love if you have a love.
You could hate the fact that Joey's the only person.
You could hate that you don't have enough hate in your heart.
You could hate that. I'm without a crew. I'm a piece of shit.
I've had too many great experiences this year. Things have gone my way really well.
I hate that. Yeah.
I hate the fact that it's going great.
I hate I'm so devilishly good looking. Yeah. I hate it.
Can't stand it.
It's a real problem.
Oh, I've been mistaken because I wear like stage black, like so like getting mistaken for like being a venue employee. Yeah. Just this last
with catering.
Weekend, somebody's just like, can you go tell them that the door in the restroom isn't working correctly and I got locked in the stall? And I'm like, I'll find someone. forgot about it. Hopefully, hopefully nobody got locked in
Hopefully
the
they're not
stall.
still in the stall.
Locked in there.
I walk away. I go, well, it's probably user error. You just kind of get stuck sometimes. But, yeah. Can you take my plate for me? I'm a nice guy. Sure. I'll take it. Go place it on an empty table somewhere. But, yeah, getting mistaken for,
Yeah, catering staff or venue staff.
which is fine, but I'm just like, oh, I think that they think I'm somebody else. Yeah.
Man, do I hate when people put their drinks on my speaker.
Oh, God, it's so disrespectful.
On my booth, I'm like, okay, it's a table, sure. I see the
Even
edge.
then.
Still, I don't want it. Still, don't put your stuff on my table. But like my speakers that aren't even a flat surface, you really, with your drunk ass, thought that that was the best place to.
And on the
those?
subwoofer, the subs, that's going like.
Seriously,
And their drinks like.
that's
hopping.
just like that's just such a bad move.
Yeah,
that's bad
dude.
behavior.
You just want to drop kick them
Right in the
every
jaw.
time.
I just want to find the
God.
things in their life that are important to them and put my
I want
drinks
to put
on.
my drink on your child. I'm going to put
Right
my
on their
drink
head,
on your
right on their
infant
soft
child.
spot.
That's it.
Their fontanelle's not closed, and it's the perfect drink holder.
I'm going to
Exactly.
find
Right.
your grandmother in hospice
Exactly.
and rest my drink on her freaking oxygen.
This is her these are her last moments, and let's put some rings on her stuff.
Because, baby,
It's just like that with the overstepping. Like also the mother of the bride that was like, we came over during dinner and she was like turning down the dials on my board, messing with all my switches and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell are you? I will turn it down. I will gladly turn it down. Just ask. But no, she just took it upon herself to mess with my stuff and touch my equipment. You don't know what it is or how much it costs. Don't touch my shit.
I do have an experience that was just awful. I remember.
Here we go.
I remember.
Let's go.
Yeah, so
we're diving in.
it was in Plymouth. It was at Swan.
Sure, Swan Lake.
Swan Lake.
Yeah.
And there was one of the guests. She was on the floor the entire night, having a great time.
Hell yeah.
Great time. Just kind of the life of the dance floor.
Love it.
And then she came up to the booth and was like, "So, could you play this song?" And it was on the do not play list. Sure. And like, no, like that's actually, we're not able to play that song. And like, so what you're saying is you don't want to play music that's going to make people totally have a great time.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
well, we're not able to play it tonight. As she walks back to her table to eventually leave early, she acts like she's going to unplug the speakers.
Tries to rip out the.
She tries to rip out
Chris
the
talked about
cord
this.
from a sub. And like, Chris looks at me, "Did you just see that?" I'm like, "Yeah." And like, she was having a great time. She was having until we didn't
You
play.
absolutely killed her.
Until we
vibe,
didn't
and it
play.
was her day.
Yeah, until we didn't play a song that she wanted played, and like she went and sat and pouted like a small child
A child.
at her table, and I'm like, well, maybe it's time for you to go home. And she left like 45 minutes early. I'm like,
Oh no.
yeah,
She didn't get her song played.
she didn't get her song
Poor
played.
thing.
Do not play.
Poor
Yeah.
child. Oh,
It's not about you.
sit down.
Not
Sit
about
down, buddy.
you.
Come here.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
I had a dad get upset with me because, like, the second I showed up, there was one song on the do not playlist with a note that says, "My dad is going to request this song. Do not let him play it or sing it." The second I show up, he's like, "I need this song played later." And I'm like, "She told me not to play it. I can't do it."
Sir, you've been outmaneuvered.
You've been
Yeah.
outmaneuvered.
Yeah.
And then like
You're
3 or 4
predictable.
times throughout the night, like he
Checkmate.
walked up to me, and the last time you could tell, like he was pretty drunk. I told him like, "The bride told me I can't do it. I'm sorry. Like if she tells me that I can play it, like I gladly will. But she told me no, so I'm not doing it." And he said, "Well, give me the mic and like I'll sing." And I'm like, "Absolutely not. Not gonna happen."
Look at the note.
Look at the note. Like
Let's
we
just
got
ask
both
for
of those.
more. I love
both
that.
of those things covered.
No, I'll just do it a cappella.
Let's
It's
do it
fine.
a
Yeah.
cappella instead. I'll just make
Give
up
me a
my
beat.
own
Just give me a
lyrics.
beat. I'll do it.
Just give me a beat.
It's Eminem and 8 Mile. Fuck a beat. I'll go a cappella.
B Rabbit.
Yeah, B Rabbit.
That's the
And,
dad. I freaking love
Like I
it.
just remembered like telling him no and him just like,
Yeah.
People don't tell me no. It's me we're talking about.
Yeah, I had one of those.
That's the. That's kind of my second hate. If we're starting the hate again.
Oh yeah, what's your second hate? Yeah.
Oh, do I need another love?
No, this is we're on hate.
This is
You're
hate.
the last
We're on
hate.
hate. Okay,
We're on the
fantastic.
last hate.
Is people who just the ego of people. It's not your wedding. It's not your day.
It's not about you.
It's not about you.
point
You're
one.
not my customer. I don't. And everything you've done tonight, Chris and I have talked about in the past, be on the DJ's team, but more importantly, be on the couple's team.
Yes.
And at that wedding on Friday with Mason, I was kind of teaching her the ropes and teaching her what to look for. And there was a dude who was every song, he was owning it. He's a bigger guy. He's got a beard. But he was dancing alone. He was dancing silly. He was having a great time no matter what we played.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get more people out there.
Great.
And I go, if that guy requests a song, we're playing it. Because
Yes.
he's on our team, and he has shown that he is dedicated to anything we're doing.
Yes.
So we want to work with him to keep him happy. And he's trying to get more people out there. What I don't care about is somebody who sat in the corner, they're not playing, Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt or whatever, my song that I like. And I can't have fun. I'm going to leave soon, and they're not. I told them I was going to leave, and they're not playing it. And I've had a ton of those this year. But the worst was somebody came up and got in my face and threatened me, what are you doing? You're ruining this wedding. And I go, first of all, that's not true, because I met with a couple and they told me what they wanted, and I'm doing that. But I can do some of what you're saying, but I was waiting. They went pop punk and they wanted it all night. I was like, well, I'm just waiting for the last hour. I think it's going to hit better. But sure, we'll do it. Anyway, he just flipped out. And he was in my face. The bride came and apologized to me because of his behavior. He was just so out of line, so inappropriate. And that's just
The bride shouldn't have to be put in a situation to do that.
100%, right?
It's
Absolutely
their day.
not.
Yeah. They shouldn't.
That
It's
guy
not
was so
about you,
selfish
dude.
that he wasn't hearing his type of music, that he couldn't have fun. And that he felt it upon himself to come up and threaten and get in my face and be aggressive, rather than be kind and sweet and nice and ask, and then just be patient, right?
Yeah.
And then guess what? If it didn't get played, maybe you still tried to have fun anyways, because it's not about you. You're not at your party. You're
That's
at
too
someone
much to
else's.
ask for.
And that was what it was. Is just, this is about me we're talking about, and that if it's me, I want what I want, and I want it now. And if the fact that you won't give it to me, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. It ruins my mood. I give up on that wedding. I'm just I'm okay.
I check out.
Okay, you want that? Here you go. Boom.
You want me to be Spotify? I'll be Spotify.
It's gonna suck. Here we go. Here's a playlist. You're gonna hear a playlist now. I'm not mixing anymore. I'm not reading the dance floor anymore.
Yep.
I don't care about the outcome because you've ruined it. Yeah. You want? Here you go.
That's funny.
Here's Hadaway. What is love?
What is love? We don't know.
We're not sure anymore.
But that's funny because my second love is the inverse of that. People this year that just let me do my job.
Yeah.
And just...
A lot more of those that let you do it than interfered. A lot more.
I had a lot
But
of
you
those.
don't hear from them.
No. And it was just like, here you go. Here's my music. And sometimes, I'll specifically ask, just especially now, and after that guy got in my face about it, I was just like, hey, do you want, can I escape your list occasionally? Can I branch out? If Usher's here, Flow Ride is here.
That's it.
And then Lil Jon's somewhere around here.
Hey,
And
Pitbull
let's play this
is coming
triangle.
up.
Look, it's a fun little...
That's it.
It's like darts. We could just bloop. So, is that cool? And most of the time, they're like, you're the DJ. Have fun. These are the types of music
Do
that I
your
like.
thing.
Also, there is a feature on Vibo where it says must play. And if you select a must play, I'm going to play those
That's a
songs.
priority. We take that seriously.
But if you don't, I'm going to read this, and I'm going to have a great time. And I know that you're going to have a great time because I'm good at what I do. Yeah. And those have been plentiful this year. I loved that.
Requests are exactly that. We request you to play this. It'd be great if you did. If not, it's okay.
Yeah.
If it's a love it, a must plays, you got to play this.
Yes.
But guess who gets the must plays? Just the bride and groom. Just the customer gets the must play.
That's it.
Exactly.
And just bare bones though. Let me do my job. And if you come up and you make a request, don't say, "Hey, can you play this next?"
Yeah.
Because the answer is going to be no.
More than likely. Sometimes people are good at it, but
Yeah,
most of the time.
I had a lot of that this week. There was a lot where somebody come up, "Hey, can I get Chattahoochee?"
Boom.
You know what? Yeah, you can get Chattahoochee.
We're out of country. What next? Oh, we're not out of country. Missed one.
Appeared with an orange aura to save us in
Seriously.
the moment. But no, we're mixing. I'll probably have a mix lined up for the next song. I'm not going to put it in next.
Mm-hmm.
So no, but like understand it's not because I'm being a dick. It's because like there's a way to do this. Also, it's 8:02. I'm not going from Whitney Houston to Mo Bamba. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. Yeah. I'm not doing that right now.
Yeah.
Fair.
Love.
Another love.
Love. One experience that was
Of course, he's got love coming out the ass.
Love so much.
one experience that was very pleasant.
There we go.
There you go. And was lovely. Yeah. So it was at Journeyman. I was with Chris, and we were at Journeyman in Michigan, and the bride had a cousin, and her cousin had special needs, and before the reception started, he came up to us, her cousin, and said, "So I'm singing with my cousin tonight." And Chris is like, yeah, he is. Like, I talked with the bride, and he and the bride totally just we gave the mic to him, and he just let loose "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. He let loose, and it was
No way.
It
Back
was
to
in the
Beat Rabbit?
middle of the dance floor, and
That's
it was
awesome.
amazing. He just every word.
Did the crowd go nuts?
The crowd
Yes,
went
they did.
nuts.
Of course
The
they
crowd
did.
went nuts. It was like you knew that when he came into the reception, like that is what he was going to
He got
do.
the hood up and he's like
He
boxing.
he was ready and like so sweet. So it was fabulous. Like that was like what fueled the dance floor for the rest of the night, and such a sweet moment between,
Literally created a moment.
and like
for them.
the
I'll never
bride,
forget.
like that relationship that the bride and her cousin have, like that was something that I'm sure the bride's like, "Hey, you want to do this?"
Yeah.
And that was anytime that a bride will step away for a little bit and give something to someone else, like that's really cool. And
cool.
that was awesome.
Well, and those are the moments we live for.
Yeah.
literally.
As DJs, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now everyone
If I get
remembers
10
that.
of those a
Yeah.
year. It's
Yes.
like, damn, that's amazing.
Or they have
Makes the
Southpaw
job worth
show
it.
up
Yeah,
to their
they have
wedding,
Southpaw
or
show up to their
a
wedding.
poignant
That was a pretty
speech
cool
that gets
wedding.
everyone choked up. Or
You gotta love.
you gotta love.
I do have a love. Jeff knows this one really well.
Uh-oh.
Fireball.
Oh, man.
The
fire.
song Fireball has hit every single wedding this year. And towards the end of the season, I seriously would go like from Cha-Cha into Fireball into I Love It by Iconopop
It's
as
an
like
amazing
this
mix.
trio banger that everybody goes crazy for.
Three-headed monster.
Just like a three-headed monster. And like the rest of the dance floor, whatever. But like those three songs.
Because everybody's on the dance floor for the line dance,
Oh,
and then you
you
drop
mix in Fireball with the cha-cha
Wow.
now, y'all, and they do that, and you throw in like the little Fireball
Yeah.
right at the beginning, like people start to hear it, and they get it, and they love it.
And when it drops, like they just rip
They
their
just go
scalp out.
crazy.
Like it's
Hair,
insane. Yeah.
faces come off,
Yeah.
like
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. But it's just face.
It's
like
so
they're
good.
ripping the skin.
It's so good, and just mixing in general. I'm loving it this year. I'd love my job. I really, really stepped into it this year.
You definitely did. I mean, and that energy is transformable. It's transformed me and our whole team because of how on fire you've been and how how clutch you've been with all your couples.
No
and,
pun
like
intended.
it's literally been a fireball that you've set under a whole team with that.
Thank
You
you.
know, yeah.
It's been a great year. I'm really looking forward to next season.
Yeah, and that's kind of leads me into my love is just our team. We've had just such a phenomenal year. We've crushed our goals. I started out, I was like, let's get 75 5-star reviews. And then by October, we hit 100. And now we're like 110. We're crushing it. We're about to do 175 events this year, which is an all-time high for us.
Yeah, we booked it.
Yes. And
booked
it's
it.
so
We're
it's
doing
just, it's huge to be just setting goals and then achieving them with just a team that's on fire for this work, that's passionate. They see what I see, and it's so, and in this job and what it can be. And just to see people love it and dedicate themselves to it is just really rewarding as a business owner. And as you know, and that's the big thing is I get to share this with other people. It's like, hey, here's this thing I love. And it just ignites. It checks a lot of boxes for me. It ignites this passion in my heart, and then I get to bring along friends, and then I get to see the deep friendships that form from that as a result. Like you and Jeff have become good friends. You and Dave and Dave and Jeff and everyone has become really good friends on our staff because it's like everybody kind of is like, yes, we love doing this too. And like, you love Chattahoochee, I love Chattahoochee. No, but there's just deep connections with the passion for this work.
A little bit of outlook.
Just a little. It'll educate you. That's.
Yeah.
Would you have a high school degree? Nope. I had the Chattahoochee. I have a
all you
river.
need.
I have a river degree. But yeah, that's what I love. Is just seeing my staff and people, just that energy just permeate the whole staff. But then that permeate the weddings. It's just we've had more reviews, and literally you kind of create a competition, and people are like, "Oh, I can't be shown up by Joe. I'm gonna have to try and do a good job at my job," and then see the couples just reward that with like, "You guys killed it."
I love that, and I feel pretty much the same way. It's been awesome. Like the rising tides raise all ship. It's been fun. Do we have time for the last hate and love?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. My final hate. Okay, we got to be honest here. I'm gonna look straight into the camera. Sometimes you suck at picking music. Okay,
You're not good at it.
I'm sorry. Sometimes you're terrible at picking music. No one is going to dance to the songs that you do homework to. No one is going to dance to the songs that you cook to. No one is going to dance to the songs that you drink beers in the back of your pickup truck to. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. Sometimes you're bad at things. This might be one of them. You know who's not bad at these things? These guys right here.
The people who do it for a living. That you're paying to trust. Yeah.
Just like, don't shoot yourself in the foot. That's my thing. That's like my cherry on top is that I just like, and it's like, and they want you to play the shitty ones. They want you to play it. It's like, I've avoided that one because it's shit. Okay? This is a bad song, Jen. I didn't have any Jens this year, I think. That's just a
Sounds
name
like somebody who would request something. That
yeah, but you know what, Jen, she's going to pick a song that says the C word 17 times and then make me play it for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with WAP, but come on.
That's probably fine.
So that, just like, you know.
Oh, wait, no, you're talking about that country song from
Yes,
the other
exactly.
day that all the parents were looking at you because,
That was bad. Yeah,
That
they were
was an
mad at me.
interesting song.
They were mad at me, and I get it. And then I was like, I'm sorry. They made me play it. They're making me do this. Hate?
I'm all out of hate.
Yeah, I know. Joe?
Are you all out of love?
No.
Do you have another love?
All out of love. I'm so... hates. What is another hate that I have? I hate that I'm not booked on 100 gigs next year, so book with us.
Yeah, that's the big one. That's the hate.
I like
fucking
that. I hate
so
that.
much.
I hate that I don't work
decided
more.
I
I don't work
Yeah.
more. So that's my last hate.
That's such a. What's your biggest flaw? I'm too detail oriented.
Exactly.
I'm just too focused.
Yeah. So we need at least 250 events next year. So book with us.
About 200-300.
Couple 200-300.
I just hate when people get in my head. They make me doubt myself. They make me doubt like the years I've put into this, all of the experience I've had. I know the best thing to do, and I love couples and clients and guests and venues and vendors who support that. I am against, vendors, clients, guests who are like, yeah, I don't care about what you want, what you do. I don't care about. I want to do it this way, or I want to do it this thing, and I know what's best. The worst is the people who come up and complain. They're like, play something good. I'm like, what would you like?
You have a song?
What would you like? They never have a song.
No, play something good or
Not
play
this.
something country.
Not this. That is the worst when just people just they try to take over. But mostly, when vendors or when other guests or people who just get in your head and stress you out. And this is what I tried to teach Mason in our first game. I was like, you need to set up and you need to disappear.
Yeah.
Because if you're sitting around waiting, all that's going to happen is more stressful things. People, since you're here, let me ask you, do you have a microphone? I do. And Well, so when you're going to do the speeches, when you're gonna introduce me, I have a little thing I'm going to do. I'm going to surprise the bride. I mean, it's just more. I used to DJ. There's just going to keep there's going to be 1,000 things that don't even you never even need to hear. Yeah, it has nothing to do with your job. It's relational to your job, but not really. And it's going to hurt the success of your job because they're in your head and they're stressing you out. And I'm such a person, and I think to be good at this job, you have to be an empathetic person. You have to understand what people are feeling and how to get them to continue to feel that and feel better, and just to keep. And you have to read that. And what comes with that is you soak up the emotions of other people. So if people are anxious, you're going to soak that up. If they're angry, you're going to soak it up. If you're depressed, you're going to soak it up. If they're pissed off, whatever. And so I've learned that to not give them the opportunity to do that, especially if I'm not working for them and I'm not even on the clock yet. I got an hour and a half to kill. Guess what? I'm getting tacos and tequila because I don't want anything to do with all of the stress I'm going to soak up while I'm sitting around twiddling my thumbs waiting to start music at 5 o'clock and it's 3:30.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a ghost. I'm going to leave because it's just going to be more opportunity for something to go wrong.
Yeah.
That's a good one, too.
I hate that.
I thought of another hate.
What do you got?
To kind of segue off of that.
Well, Dave, we got another Dave. You got to do a hate for Dave. So
okay, I'll do a hate for Dave.
My
And this one's
hate.
just like a small, stupid thing. It's just like a guest request that is like a solid song, but I'm going to get to it. And they come up every few songs.
No
like,
patience.
When is my song? When is my song? In the next few songs, even if your song's good, I'll get to it. Like, I can't just go from country to something completely drastic, and I want to play your song. It's just like, I need more songs to segue and transition out of what I'm doing right now. I'll get to it. And if I don't have it, and if I tell you I'm going to download it, just trust that.
Yeah.
yeah,
And if I don't play it, then you tried. Like, I heard it. You saw me write it down.
yeah.
I don't need the constant reminders of your song. I'll get to it if it's good. That's it. That's just like a small thing.
I 150% agree with that.
Same.
You want to finish it with love?
I love love.
We can finish with love.
My last love is I've had some freaking killer venue coordinators this year, man.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like Williams Orchard has been amazing. You're just talking about like people at the Allure, fantastic. Talk about people like Tyler, Bell Mare, Section House, Journeyman that I've been dealing with. Like everyone has just greeted me with like a genuine smile, and they're like genuinely happy. And it's like these people aren't putting on a show. It's just like, oh, these are good people that care about their work. They care about the place that they're showcasing, and they're doing everything that they can to enable the team for that day to kill it, right? Like they understand, like all those people understand it's a team effort, and they put that work in. You know what I mean? It's not like there's one person doing all the group effort for a group project. You know what I mean? It's these people care, and so like that's been fun for me. So my last love is like the people like. I point out venue coordinators because there's been a lot of them, but like the people that have just done their job to a ridiculously good degree this year that has, made my output, my overall performance better, but also just made everything smooth as butter.
Yeah.
It makes our job way easier when they're on top of it and friendly, and like they bring the energy too. Yeah. Because if they're bringing the energy to the couple early on in the day, and then we meet them, and we're bringing the same energy.
I'm coming into your house,
keep
man.
It going.
I'm coming into your house. You got to be welcoming, and they understand that. Like they're very like, hey, you're in our house, but you're a guest, and we're gonna treat you like we love you, and like that's what those people did, and it's a joy to go back every single time. All right, love, man.
Yeah, no, I have thoroughly enjoyed working with not just each one of you guys in here, but the other DJs that are not represented in this room. Like, this is something, I've Mike and I had a conversation beginning of 2024. Yeah, this year.
March, I think.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity. Didn't know what to expect. I've thoroughly enjoyed like working with all of you. That's been, I'm not getting choked up.
Sure.
Maybe
It's
for
cold.
Jeff.
It's cold season. You're literally getting
I'm
choked.
sick, guys. I'm sick.
Yeah.
I'm not in love.
It has been so enjoyable, and just watching how each of you do things slightly differently, but it works great for each of you.
Yeah.
That's what and like conversations, loved it.
Yeah.
So really enjoyed it.
Nice. Well, and to segue off that, like I do love that all of us kind of have our own little way of doing things, but it's all like to the Amplified brand. Like we're all really professional. We're gonna show up and do the thing. We're gonna give you a great wedding, great dance floor, but we're also gonna have a great time ourselves. And I think I've really found a selfish one that I love is that I have really found myself this year and just like really found who I am as a DJ, as a person. Like I wanted to do like finance for a little bit at the beginning of this year. I took a big test to like do all that, and like that would have been cool, but I would have hated it down the line. It's not something that I've ever loved. Like I would have liked the money maybe, but this is something that I have loved for years. I'm going on my 9th season being a DJ now.
So
like
awesome.
I've stayed around for a reason. I love this job. There's no reason for me not to do it full time, and just like really being able to own that fact and to come into myself as a person. I love that.
It's been fun to watch happen too.
Yeah.
Like over the course of the season, because I remember you're just like, I'm like, dude, just like lean into this. Let's like, put you in a position to like do this.
Jeff, you don't understand. I'm a finance bro.
And he's like Bitcoin, and I was like, oh well, okay. And
Doing
then 3
yard
months
marks.
later, it's like, actually, I think F that. And I was like, oh, thank God,
For sure.
cool.
I mean, my love is just, it's really cool to see people have a passion for this, come alive. But just anybody this year who has taken a chance and trusted us, and then who has, tipped us, wrote a nice review, thanked us, sent a thank you card. There's a lot of guests who come up. You guys did a great job.
Yeah.
You guys are killing it.
Yeah. Which is
those,
awesome.
Those always mean so much to me when we show up at a venue and the vendors are like, thank God it's you guys.
Right.
Like last weekend.
It feels so good this
Last
year,
weekend
too.
was a nightmare. Oh my gosh. And we're swapping war stories in the trenches.
Yeah.
And then, people, and I've had a lot of weddings this year where it's like, I did their wedding, and that's why we did this wedding.
Yeah.
And or like on Friday, I was like, I did your wedding in 2021, and then later this month we're doing another wedding that that couple was at your wedding, and it's so cool to see and to connect and to realize that what you do matters, and it's important, and you're doing it well. That people, the goal is you create this unforgettable experience, and that's clicking because they're like, yeah, we'd like to have another one of those unforgettable.
Yeah.
We didn't forget. And that is so cool when people review you and are kind, and you have a staff that you see them grow and develop, and they're doing that too, and they're turned on. Fireball, they've developed a passion for this, and they've made it their own. That it's like, I see what you see, and I have my own little version of that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I think that's probably a good time to end.
Here for that.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for trusting us with your weddings. We will see you at your wedding. I am Mike.
I am Joe.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Dave.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.